Patrick Cook here. Welcome to session 45 of our Mastering Mandelbulb3D Formula tutorial series. The last session I had loaded in this other Mandelbulb parameters set. This is what I got. I got two 3DA formulas, and I got two transforms. Now these transforms, like the one we had done before, they don't really seem to be in the right location, but they're probably having an impact on the scene. So from a creative standpoint, fine. Okay. Now let's take this session and let's explore one other little investigative tactic that I like to use. Look, I don't know if any of these properties were actually modified to create this scene. I don't know, but let's see if we can find out. Look, we got an amazing box. So why don't we do this? We'll kind of take an eyeball of these three properties that came in from our parameter set, okay? I'm going to go over to Formula 6, and I'm going to load up the amazing box, if I can find it. Where'd you go? Amazing box. There we go. So in formula, where'd you? Oh, I overwrote a formula. Let's get that from the keyboard, from the clipboard. All right, I'm just restoring. I'm restoring it. Okay, so an amazing box. I want to see what the default parameters are, which I don't have that information here anymore. I'm going to go to formula number 6 here. I'm going to go load up amazing box. Okay, there we go. There's my default parameters, 2.5 and 1. This, that, and that. Every single one of these parameters have been modified. All I wanted to do here is to show you a little tactic for determining what the default parameters were. Go to an unused formula slot, load it in, load that formula in, all right, and then take a look at what the defaults are, all right? Versus how it came to you. There's another way you can do it too. I'll tell you what, let me show you here. Let's turn off, it sort of kind of doesn't work, but let's turn off, let's open up the navigator. All right, and let's turn that on for you. I'm going to load up these I'm going to get these parameters. All right. Come on. All right, so I've got the parameters. The coloring is really bad. Let's see if we can see it a little bit better here. Okay. Now, formula number 1 right here is the amazing box. All right. Let me do this for you. I'm going to move my navigator so you can see it better. Let's put it way over here. That's good enough. Okay, good. All right. Now, go back to main and look at this amazing box formula. All up in here, you see scale, min R, and fold. This is on the main now. This is main. Over here on our navigator, we see for formula number 1, which is amazing box, we see scale, there's the value, which matches what's in our main. Min R, fold, those values match. Now, unfortunately, even the navigator does not show you what the default properties are. All right. So there's really no good way for you to be able to see the default properties of a formula once somebody gives it to you. And there is not a reset on an individual formula. This reset up here, I can reset the whole formula configuration, but I can't reset just one formula. All right, so it's very awkward where you don't have access to the default parameters. Now, that's one of the reasons why I created another resource that I use for myself, and then I'm going to make available up on YouTube on my Mandelbulb3D channel. What I've done is I've stepped through every single formula that's available in the installed Mandelbulb application and put them into a video with their default properties. And so the whole idea is that you can use that resource to go look for, say, Amazing Box and get the default properties, all right, and also be able to see what the formula looks like when it's rendered as just that one formula. Now, in a later session, I'm going to talk about this what I call the Mandelbulb formula example reference. I'm going to talk about that, and that resource will be released simultaneously to releasing this Mastering Mandelbulb3D Formula tutorial. So all I wanted to do in this session here is to give you a clue as to how you can determine what the default parameter values are for a formula, which you can kind of cheat a little bit if you have an empty formula slot. Load in the formula, look at the default, figure out what you want to do. Even if you fire up the navigator, they're not going to help you, because the navigator is not going to show you what the default values are. All right, let's close the navigator, and let's continue this fun. Okay, let me get this formula out of here, because if I render this, that formula is going to be taken in. So I'm going to swipe it, backspace, and enter. All right, that's the only way I know of to eliminate a formula assignment from a formula slot. All right, okay, so I'm back to what the original parameter set was. All right, so now again, I'm not interested in tweaking all of these things out. I'm not interested in taking our time in this tutorial to modify the properties and change the graphic. I'm more interested in getting you set in how to use the tools to work with formulas. All right, and of course one of those tools is that you can bring in other people's parameter sets. Take a look at them, figure out what you want to do, build on them, modify them, but I would advise against actually republishing them and calling them your own without modification. All right, let's fire up this browser again here, and let's go find another one. All right. What's a good one? You like this one right here? Want that one? Okay, we'll do that. All right, I'm gonna swipe the whole thing all the way down, including the title. Copy C from clipboard. All right, looks like I'm getting pretty close to my colors. Okay. I want to make this 800 by 800 so that we can see it on our screen, nice and big. Beautiful. Okay. Looks like I'm getting something very similar. Now this is really cool. I can see some potential in this one. Okay. Let's look at what we got here. We got 3 formulas. We're still in alternate hybrid mode. 3 formulas. Ah, here's a transform in the right location, technically. All right, here, another transform. All right, and then we have amazing surf. So we have a transform on a transform on a escape time. This is in the 3DA category, right? Where is it? Amazing box right there, 3DA. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Amazing Surf has a formula iteration of 15. Transform, I would imagine a transform would only be one iteration, and it is. So anyway, so that's interesting. So why don't we, let's knock this down to, let's cut that in half. Okay, is my iteration count on the escape time formula? Let's do 1. Okay. All right. You getting the sense of this? You can take somebody else's work, inspect it, get some ideas from it, modify it, and I modify just the iteration count so far, you know, and modify it, tweak it out, and then get in and use your coloring, get the shadows in here, bring out the highlights, put the light in a particular location. This would even make an interesting animation. You know, I can kind of see where, I'll tell you what, let's pick this up in the next session. We're a little bit over time on this session. I'm going to say right with this, we're going to pull this over the navigator and take a look. I'll see you in the next session.